"Thank you," I finally breathed, and hugged her tightly to me, overcome by how loving and understanding she was. "For what?" she whispered, tracing her fingers up and down my chest. "For knowing me so well, for understanding what I need even when I don't." I leaned my face down to kiss her, and she melted into my touch. "Thank you for being you." We held each other for a few more minutes, silent except for the sound of our breathing in unison. When she yawned again, I knew it was time for her to sleep. I carried her to the bed, and her arms never broke from around my neck. She scooted closer to me once we were laying down, and closed her eyes when I started humming to her. "The earlier I leave, the sooner I can come back to you," I said softly, and she smiled into my chest. "Go have fun. Bag a few mountain lions for me." I laughed quietly as I resumed stroking her hair, and before long she was asleep. I listened to her dream, happy to hear she was far more relaxed than she had been all week. When she drifted into a dreamless slumber, I carefully slid out from beneath her and wrapped her up in a quilt. I glanced at a pile of stationery on her bedside table and quickly scrawled a note for her, something to remind her that even though I was away, my heart was always with her. "I'll be back so soon you won't even have time to miss me. Look after my heart. I've left it with you." With a smile, I placed it on the pillow beside her, kissed her forehead softly, and left for what I hoped would be a very short trip. "Back so soon?" Alice teased when I'd returned home. "I can't imagine why." "Cute," I muttered, as she gleefully bounded towards me. "I assume you've already informed Emmett and Jasper about the trip." "Of course." "It's making me really nervous, the idea of being so far out of town." "This is a good thing. Bella's obviously not so worried that she's afraid to let you leave." "I wish I didn't have to go." "I know, and Bella knows too. But she also knows that this is something you need, and she's more than happy to let you have some fun in the process. She's still somewhat amused, I'd even say fascinated, by the idea of you hunting." She smiled. "And that doesn't bother you at all?" I asked incredulously. "No, I think it's sweet. She loves you, and this is just another part of who you are. And who she'll be soon." It hadn't been intentional. That's simply how Alice thinks. But I growled at her nevertheless. "Whoa, don't let the animal out of the cage yet. Save it for the grizzlies," Emmett said, smirking as he came down the stairs. I ignored him, still glaring at Alice. "Sorry," she mumbled, and I nodded with a deep sigh. "You'll stay close by in case anything changes?" I asked her. "Yes, I promise. And if she starts concocting more plans to visit the wolves, I'll take out another piece of her car." "Thanks," I said, then turned to Emmett. "Is Jasper ready to go?" "He actually took off about an hour ago. He dared us to catch up with him," he added with a snicker. A huge grin broke out across my face, momentarily pushing my fears aside. "It's been a while since I've run at full speed. You up for the challenge?" "Always," he said, taking off without another word. Alice smiled at me and gave my hand a quick squeeze. "Have fun, and try not to worry too much." "I'll try." "Now hurry up. Emmett's probably halfway across town by now." "Ha, I'm just hanging back so I don't crush his ego too soon," I teased, and Alice flitted out of the room. I took another deep breath and darted out the back door, the speed and exhilaration hitting me almost instantly. It wasn't long before I caught up with Emmett, and it was tempting to keep up my current speed and leave him behind. The surge of excitement, as the trees blurred into the sea of green, was wonderful, and it served to distract me. A welcome relief, even if only for a moment. "No need to show off," Emmett thought as I raced past him. "The girlfriend's not here to watch." Distraction gone. Thanks a lot, Emmett. "I'm not showing off," I said, slowing my pace slightly. "It just feels good to be out again. For the first time in quite a while, I wasn't thinking about anything at all." Edward finally not overthinking everything? Please don't let me hold you back. I'll catch up." "No, it's fine. The moment's lost anyway." We ran the rest of the way side by side, in a relative silence. Emmett tried to keep his mind on mundane things, then focused in on the hunt as we grew closer to our favorite spot. We were about 50 miles away when we saw Jasper in the distance. Emmett and I smiled sideways at each other and picked up our pace to an all-out sprint, tackling Jasper a few moments later. "Took you guys long enough," he said sarcastically as we continued our run. "I was starting to think I'd have the pick of the whole forest." Don't you think Edward should get first choice? Emmett said, smirking at me. After all, he's been cooped up in Forks longer than either of us. I'm not sure self-exile gives him special rights, Jasper said with a grin, and I lunged at him again. Just as he was jumping out of the way, we all stopped in our tracks. We could smell blood, and it was close. Suddenly, all the playful banter disappeared, and we could feel all of us tense in anticipation. My jaw tightened as we took off in separate directions, each in search of our own favored prey. It wasn't long before I came across a pair of mountain lions. Even with all the adrenaline and my sense focused on the kill, I felt a smile pull at my mouth as I remembered Bella's parting words to me. Her casual acceptance of my way of life, unbelievable as it may be, truly was a gift. It was with that thought that I attacked the smaller of the animals, the larger one taking off immediately. I saw that he was fast, and excitement welled up in me once again as I thought about the chase that would follow. When I'd finished the first, I sprinted after the second, finding him in minutes. Feeling greedy, I found a third only miles away, and gorged myself as I hadn't been able to for so long. All conscious thought escaped me until I heard Emmett's chuckle from behind me, and they say I'm insatiable. I took one final draw of blood and pushed the carcass aside as he walked over to me. Where's Jasper? Oh, he's having a bit more fun than he should be. I'm pretty sure he's done hunting for the moment, but he was scaring a herd of elk last I saw. And you? Grizzlies galore, he smiled. I attempted to return his enthusiasm, but with the thrill of the hunt no longer occupying my every thought, I found myself growing nervous again. Okay, he said, watching me curiously. You just took down 2 mountain lions. 3, I corrected him. Fine, 3, and you still look stressed. What's going on? I hesitated, wondering how much to say. I didn't want to burden him, although clearly he was already seeing right through me. I shrugged and tried to infuse my tone with a level of composure. It's difficult to be away from Bella. Alice is keeping a close watch on her, and Carl and Esme are there too, looking out for her. You gotta relax. It's not only that, though. I took a breath, and when I spoke again, I found my words were pouring out, fast and unstoppable. Ever since she and Carlyle made their little arrangement, my whole perception of our relationship has changed. I can never just be with her, because I'm always aware that each minute we spend together is a countdown to the end. It's like every one of her breaths are numbered. Every heartbeat is special because I know they're running out. I don't want to be away from her because every second I am means that there's something I'm missing. He stared at me for an endless moment, his thoughts jumping around from sympathy to confusion to frustration. Finally he shook his head. I wish you wouldn't talk about her like she's dying. I scoffed, glaring at him icily. Okay, yes, technically she is. But it's not like it's really the end. It's only the beginning. You two are going to have eternity together. I know you wish there was another way, but honestly, sometimes I don't understand what you're so upset about. Being with her forever is what you want, and Bella wants that too. I know she does, but still. No, he interrupted. There's no but. You have to let her make her own choices, and she's chosen you. He paused for a moment, letting his words sink in. When I made no attempt to argue, he smiled and continued. Besides, the whole family's already accepted her and welcomed her in. Well, almost the whole family, he added, under his breath. I cringed, but made myself ask the question which I was fairly confident I already knew the answer to. Does Rose talk about Bella a lot? I asked warily. If by talk you mean complain, then yes, all the time. I know she has her reasons, but I wish she could find a way to at least be civil. Her thoughts can be pretty vicious, and it's hard to listen to her constant sarcasm and negativity when Bella comes over, and even worse to wonder what she's saying and thinking when we're not around. You can't let it get to you. All of us love Bella, and she's as much a part of the family as if Carlyle had already changed her. He watched me cautiously as I shuddered, then quickly continued. Even with Rose, you've got to know it's really not anything personal. She just doesn't agree with the choice Bella's making. Neither do I growled, unable to hold it in.